Welcome to That Sober Guy podcast. I'm Shane Raymer. Today's guest is my good friend, Paul Churchill. Super pumped to have him back on the podcast. It's been years since we've connected, and Paul started the Recovery Elevator podcast back in 2015, which evolved into an amazing community, a nonprofit, and a sober travel business, which offers alcohol-free retreats, courses, and much more. So let's get to Paul. It's great to have you on the podcast today, man. Good to see you too. How's it going?
Yeah, thanks, Shane. Thanks for the great intro there. That was
Yeah.
awesome. It's good to be here with you. Yeah, we connected back in the OG days of sober podcasting, like 2015 and 16. My
Yep.
family and I were in a road trip to California, and we met in person at some cafe. It was like that Vacaville. Does that sound familiar? Is that where you used to be from or something?
So I'm from Vacaville, but I actually mentioned this to my wife. My wife and I came out because you had put together a meetup in San Francisco. And so we had traveled out to San Francisco, and dude, there was probably, I don't know, 15, 20 people there from the Bay Area. And we met up and hung out and had some non-alcoholic drinks. And it was a great time, man. And gosh, that was like 10, 11 years ago, bro. Crazy.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it was. And before we hit record, we both arrived at like, wow, we're both still here, alive, sober, and we're both still doing something in this space, this
Yeah.
exploding space on the internet called recovery, sober living, alcohol-free life, I mean, it's awesome to be in this space with you, Shane. It's good to be here with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Same, man. Same. And I hear you're a father now and you got another one on the way, bro. Like that's awesome. So congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you, Shane. There's a quote in this space that says you give up one thing for everything. And
Mm.
there's a lot of phrases I hear. I'm like, oh, that's kind of lame, but they've all turned out to be true, right? You give up
Yeah.
one thing, and that's an addiction to alcohol for me. And
Yeah.
then not overnight, but slowly, the gifts just kept returning, and they're amplifying because my kid, he's 2. Oh gosh, it has made me grow in so many areas and patience, but also just this like love. The heart has been opening more and more of
Yeah.
what I closed off with alcohol, and I've
Oh,
got
I
another
lost
one
you
on the.
there. Oh, you know what?
You got me
I know what
now.
that is. Hold on one sec.
Okay.
Oh, wait, what happened there? What happened there?
Check, check.
Oh, okay, hold on one sec here. Why does it keep doing that? Can you still hear me, Paul?
I can still hear you. Yeah, the
Okay.
lips weren't matched up though.
Yeah, that was weird. Okay, I think we're good now. I think we're good. I can clip that out. Um, where did we leave off? Shoot, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah, I still go through that too. Um, yeah, I was talking about a kid. I'll just pick up right here,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, I got a second one on the way, and it's the one word, it's the blessing. Holy cow! Right? I have a little more of an idea of what with the storm that's coming my way, but another
Dude,
bundle
what
of
is
love,
going
another
on?
bundle of joy, and it's.
I don't know what's
Do you want
happening
me to
with
anything
this.
I can try on my end? Let me
It keeps
let me go
like
back to
switching.
this.
It keeps switching back to. That's freaking weird.
You got me.
I got you now. I got you now. Now it's going
Yeah,
back
there's
out.
still the
There.
okay. Got me?
Okay. Yeah. 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 Now it's good.
All right.
All right.
All
Try that
right.
again.
Okay.
Let's go.
Oh, cool. All right. I'll go one more time with the
Mm-hmm.
start here. Yeah, and I've got a second one on the way within just one word. I mean, what a blessing. Life is being lived. I'm saying yes to life, and life is expanding in so many areas, Shane. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good, man. So, you started Recovery Elevator in 2015, man. So let me ask you this first question real quick. What did you believe about um, sobriety, living a healthy lifestyle, maybe back then, that you've completely changed your mind about today? Is there anything that comes to
Hey,
mind?
yeah, my gosh, what a great question out of the bat. And while I think about that, I'll tell a little bit of the origin story. So I started the RE podcast. The first one dropped February 15th of 2015, and I was so green. Looking back, I probably should have crashed and burned with alcohol in front of a public audience. I didn't know anything, and I did it to create accountability for myself. I also did it because I thought the stigma was incredibly wrong. And I thought that there's so many
Yeah.
people who struggle with alcohol. Why aren't we talking about this? It was kind of like this bullshit moment. I'm like, this is so effing dumb that I'm so afraid of the stigma to go to an AA meeting to get help and support, yet so many people struggle. And so what do I think is different than today than when I started is what an alcoholic looks nothing like what I think an alcoholic looks like. So you hear the word alcoholic and immediately people think of homeless, brown paper bag, under a bridge, lost it all. And what I have found doing this, and I bet you can attest to it as well, that gosh, not only are we functioning, and I've done stats with our listenership and in our community, we have a higher level of education than the average American, a higher income level. We're in more relationships than the average American. We're extremely creative. We're extremely sensitive. And a lot of people who struggle with addiction are the people in the past who have gone on to change the trajectory of the human race, the human species. So it's like this major thorn in our side, which when alchemized or converted or changed, turns into our greatest strength. And where I'm at after doing this for 12 years, Shane, is that like, holy crap, addiction might be the answer, because similar to how rocks, when they go through intense pressure inside of planet Earth, they can emerge as crystals or gems. I think almost the same process is happening with the human being, where an addiction will destroy every part of your life that ain't working anymore, right? It's like, yeah, you want to keep going on that path, there's death. That's it.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, well, I guess I don't want to die. I guess I'll choose life. And it's not easy. And you have to internally dissect every part of your life. You have to admit you're wrong, which very few people can do that on planet Earth. Like, look at any politician. Everybody's still pointing the fingers. You then have to like reorient your life towards helping others. You have to prioritize your sobriety or peace over being right. I mean, there's so many qualities that emerge after the tough life curriculum of sobriety and addiction that if everybody went through this, I don't wish that for humanity, but gosh, it would look so much different. And I think that there might be like a built-in mechanism for humans to overcome the ego. Like we're struggling with as humans right now. This is like the climate stuff. This is AI, this technology. I think screens is going to be the greatest of addiction of our time. And if we survive it as a species, and I think that people who struggle with alcohol, alcoholics in recovery are going to be the ones that show the rest of humanity how to do it. I know within 5 minutes of the interview, we kind of went pretty deep with, or expansive, or zoomed out pretty far, but it's so interesting, Shane, the topic of what addiction is. Like, does it serve a purpose? I think absolutely. There was a time where I'm like, wow, my life derailed. This was never the plan, but I'm so thankful for it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I'm with you on the AI stuff. I actually just put a podcast out yesterday called Ozempic, AI Girlfriends, and the Death of Happy Hour. And it's referencing the AI takeover and how there's this kind of weird space where everything is automated now, and like you mentioned, the screens. I agree with you. That's one of the biggest addictions and biggest issues, I think. And even for myself, I mean, I spend a lot of time between work and then if I'm on, shopping or whatever, we're on screens a lot. So it's this weird space where, are we bettering ourselves by doing all these things? We have better technology. It's faster. It's easier. At the same time, like I'm just, it's almost like trading one addiction for another. You know what I'm saying? Like and the AI thing is just weird in general. And like, it is, it's a strange thing.
Jane, I love the topic
Yeah.
I'll
Go
just
ahead. Go ahead.
cover AI for just a second. I love the title of that
Hmm.
podcast episode, your AI girlfriend. I journal as a recovery tool, and I love it. It's like the way I connect with my inner child, myself. I don't feel alone. It's me and paper, but it's me and my thoughts, my soul, whatever.
Yeah.
And I do it in the morning on a Word document. And I got the Word document to almost 100,000 words, which is probably like a 300-page book. And I turned it into a PDF and I uploaded it to my AI companion component. And I was so amazed at what it got back to me, because we have blind spots. And
Oh yeah.
it's
Oh yeah.
and it was like, hey, you've said this 7 times on July 14th at this time in the morning. You said this and you said it again here. Like, have you made this change? And I was like, holy
Wow.
shit. And I don't want to write off AI. I'm not at all.
Yeah.
And it's
No.
like a tool, how anybody uses it. But
Hmm.
where it's going to take us and how it's applicable to recovery, sobriety, I love how you did an episode joining the two. I personally am so sick of fake videos and AI slop
Oh
that
God. Same.
it could either, I've heard stories of the youth like getting dumb phones. They just want phones with no
Hmm.
apps. Like it could either force us to put down our phones and say, you know what, I'm going to go talk to my neighbor. I'm going to read
Yeah.
my boy Shane, or it's going to have the reverse, and it might not be one or the other for everybody. It could be some for some, and if some for
Yeah.
the others. Yeah.
I've done two experiments, two separate times with that. I still have my flip phone. So it's been probably 2 years now, but I did. I turned my iPhone off, went back to the flip phone. I think I lasted almost 90 days. I got into some coaching with my son's baseball, and they have a group me app or whatever for all the parents. And that was my excuse to going back. I needed it, right? Which is very convenient. I mean, there are things you need it for. But I'll tell you what, Paul, like it was amazing to not have my phone just constantly pinging and pinging and pinging and having such easy access. Man, this oatmeal looks really good. Let me look up and see like what ingredients are in this oatmeal right here. I don't know. I'm just thinking something random. You just look up random stuff, and it's tough because it's very useful. I use AI, like you said, it's a tool. I use it in a few different ways in life, but like it's also I'm so tired of the fake videos too, and the just it's slop. You put it the best way. It's slop straight up, and you can tell it's inauthentic. As soon as I see it, I know it's AI. I don't want to look at it, but we're just bombarded with it. So I don't know, man. I brought up in yesterday's episode that it might be like this old MacGyver episode from back in the day, where like it was like the late '80s. And he like went into this computer lab, and it was this AI thing, and it took over and it locked the whole thing down. It was going to destroy the city or whatever. And, he had his thing of starter fluid and bubble gum and whatever, and ended up saving the day. But I think people are going to rebel against it. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, first off, one of my best days in the 80s, I was homesick and there was a MacGyver marathon on TV.
Yes.
Love that you said with starter fluid and bubble gum. It's amazing.
That's right. The mole.
Yeah, I think so many ways it can go and it will go, but some of us will be like, I think I'm just gonna put my phone down and like look at the ants on the ground and hang out
Yeah.
with my dog, go throw the ball and connect again with nature. But
Have you
gosh,
seen
like
the analog rooms? Like analog
no.
rooms people are creating, like they have this whole room, and it's just like a record player and like their whole bookshelf and like some plants, and it's not there's no digital, there's nothing digital in it, and so it's just a whole room dedicated. I always thought that was kind of cool. I don't know.
Interesting. What I do think is happening in this moment, which has happened millions and probably billions of times, is we're splitting as a species. There's another species that is hitting the scene, and that's us with technology, because there's another group in the Amazon basin that doesn't have cell phones at all. And within a couple 100 years or 1,000 years, or maybe even 5 years, the differences between the two, you won't be able to mesh. And then eventually they'll not be genetically compatible to mate. So that I think is happening. But also I do think AI will become sentient. Many people think it already is. This could perhaps be the first time, unless you believe Jesus being born from a virgin, that a biological mechanism hits the scene without a male and a female, getting it on together or in some
Yeah.
sort of capacity like that. That's not how it always goes down. So in our time of our lives, this might be, or the history of the earth in general, this might be the most remarkable thing to happen, or it could be
Yeah.
an incredible effing dud. It could be same time.
I know it's going to be interesting, man, to watch how this all plays out in the next few years. Um, okay. Solid question here for you. What are the causes of addiction?
Yeah, Shane. When I first, like, couple years into RE, 17, 18, I saw the Johan Hari TED Talk, The Opposite of Addiction is Connection. And
Yes.
I didn't get it. I was like, I don't know about that. And I even did a podcast where I was kind of dogging it. Not disrespectfully, but I was like, I don't know. But where I'm at now with it, Shane, is it's not a human being genetic line of code that says, well, some people just drink themselves to death. Some people overdose. Some people kill themselves. Some people become so depressed they can't get out of bed. Like, that is not a general trait of a human. And there's other cultures that don't experience any of this. In the Amazon, Indonesia, anywhere there's indigenous tribes. Not saying those are perfect, but where I'm at right now is addiction, anxiety, depression, chronic inflammation, the rise of cancers, all those things. Those are canaries in the mine saying that something is out of balance within our society. And the biggest one that I feel is that the community, the tribe, the teepee has been destroyed in the last 200 or 300 years. And we're living further and further away from our fellow human being. And it is wreaking havoc on our biological health. We are trying to find the connection that me and you, Shane, we would find a couple hundred years ago in like a hunting party to go get food for the pack. We're trying to find that on our smartphone. We're trying to find that in a bottle for me and you. And it worked. It worked wonders for me. Like, it solved so much until we know the progression. You drink to feel good, drink to feel okay, and then you drink to not feel like shit. So it's not any one cause, but I think the main cause, these are all canaries in the mine going, yo, we're not supposed to live like this. And there was a study done mid 1900s to early 1900s. There was a Midwest American town that had an extremely low rate of heart disease compared to the rest of America or the rest of the state. And they went into this area to figure it out. And what they found was most of the homes were multi-generational, meaning that the grandparents lived with the parents, lived with the kids. Yeah. And that's community. And it shows that it's so helpful for your overall biological mechanism for proper functioning. And you pull that apart. It's like, well, I can't pinpoint it. Society says I have the job, the car, I'm making money, but something's missing. Well, I've got a bottle of alcohol. Well, I've got a smartphone. Well, I've got this, that. So I think we return to that, but we're going to go, we got some pain moments ahead of us. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. And it's like, it seems like it gets harder, and it seems like the days are hard, even though we have access to everything. Sometimes it feels like there's this overwhelmingly sense of despair in some ways. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a pretty positive dude. Like, I'm pretty good at, looking at the glass half full and being able to kind of reframe it up to where it's not, devastating, but we have everything, but it feels so empty. And I think a lot of people feel that right now. It's just like there's this heaviness or something going on. I don't know if it's technology. I don't know if it's society. I mean, there's a lot of weird shit going on right now. Like, I'm sure we can both agree on that. Why do you think people want to escape so bad? I mean, I know that was a big thing for me. It's like, I struggled with alcohol, but a lot of it was I just wanted to escape. I just didn't want to feel. And I just had a good chat with a buddy of mine about that today, the feeling thing. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Yeah, and I would agree you are a positive person, Shane. I've been following your stuff for a long time. That's the vibe that I get from all your emails and episodes, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, and it's not toxic positivity. The brain is a powerful pharmacy, and it's important that we focus on the good, right? And on the flip side, there is an intense human suffering that's taking place that hasn't always been at this level. And if at the baseline, this is the Buddha, life is suffering. Just at the fundamental level, there's birth, there's death, decay. It's happening all in the same moment. It's everywhere. But again, back to the village, pain is cut in half when you share it with somebody else. And we live in a culture, there's even a state where the motto, it's the Lone Star State. Like, you're supposed to have it all figured out on yourself. That and this is softening, thankfully, but like, you're a male and you shouldn't cry and you shouldn't show weakness. And this is all changing, thankfully. I think the 80s are over. But I do think that, we are facing on levels of unprecedented chronic unrest. Like it's deep, deep, deep. And again, like I mentioned, there's rates of chronic pain and chronic inflammation that we've never seen before. And I think that's an offshoot of the struggle that we're facing. And also the economy, a lot of it functions on you not feeling good, which means there's a product, there's a salve, there's a balm, there's a serum, there's a program tailored just for you. So, when you got marketers out there just like poking the needle on your insecurities, and they know what they're doing. And there's branches of college universities designed to teach people how do they get you hooked on their apps, Meta. I do. And I think there's an unprecedented struggle, and the people that I've been speaking with, I hear in other podcasts, or people are just like struggling to get by. Like very few people are getting ahead right now. They're just struggling to get by. Yeah.
And it's like this sense of escapism, the want to escape, whether it's through shopping, whether it's through sex, whether it's through money, whether it's through booze or drugs. There's just like going back to that heaviness again, and we're bombarded with it. And so it does disconnect from, say, nature, or maybe the connection of the family. Lots of ways and reasons that people want to just say, you know what, screw it. Like, I'm just going to go, drink myself tonight, and I don't want to feel anything right now. The good news is, and I don't know what your take is on this, we are seeing some declining numbers in like Gen Z, for instance. And I know my daughter's only 16, but I know that just from what I can see with her, and then some of nieces, nephews, stuff like that are a little older, even in their early 20s, the partying that we used to do, I'm not saying there's not partying going on in the younger, I'm sure there's pockets of it, but it's not the same as it was with that. They want to hang out at a coffee shop. They want to go do a yoga class. They want to go, they're not sitting having a house party or going to the park and drinking 40s and smoking weed. Like, that's a lot of what we used to do back in the day. So I think there is a change. Are you seeing any of that? Are you hearing anything about that?
Yeah, I've read several articles just being in the space. I've heard firsthand accounts of people with kids, and it's extremely promising. And there's another side to that. I'll get to that in a sec. So I do remember very clearly in the early 90s when the DARE officer came to my school, and he was like, "Hey, dude, don't touch crack. You got cocaine, heroin, meth, speed. Watch out for that stuff." But homie DARE officer left out the most dangerous drug in the world. It's alcohol. But now there's word getting out that alcohol, it's poison. It's not good for you in any amount. Even a drop will begin to slow your prefrontal cortex. And we're figuring it out. And your own experience, I feel like shit the next day. It's called a hangover. Like, wait, is this real? No, it's not good for you. So that is getting out. And Gen Z and younger generations, they're drinking less, which is great. The other side to that, Shane, if that was the only thing they were doing less, I'd be like, hell yeah, that's awesome. But I think this comes from parenting and a little bit of control. If you're helicopter parenting, there's a whole bunch of other things that are happening. They're drinking less, but they're also leaving home at a later age. They're getting driver's licenses at a later age, or not getting a driver's license at all. They're getting their first boyfriend or girlfriend later. They're having sex at a later date. And so all of that is like a reticence to go out into the world. And I don't think I'll ever tell my kid, "Hey, dude, I think it's time for you to go to a kegger, get fucked up and like make some really shitty decisions, dude. And if you don't come home with some rips in your jeans or some blood on your shirt, like, I'm going to be pissed." I don't think I'll ever say that. Yeah. But it's great that they're drinking less, but there's also like this fear that's coming from somewhere. And the book, The Anxious Generation, with the screens and technology and Meta and Facebook, has like really done a number on the mental health of our youth. They're like not going out and doing much of anything. That's a blanket statement. It's not applicable to all, but the pro is less alcohol consumption. The con is like go get a Eurail pass and travel Europe type thing. They're not doing that.
Well, you do notice it in some of just the basic communication skills too. it's hard sometimes to communicate because they're so used to texting all the, and you know, we all text, but like, it seems like there's a much bigger focus on that, or it's snap or whatever. They snap each other, they text each other. But when it comes to like one-on-one interaction and communicating, it's like, do y'all know how to do that? And to your point, you know, that with the technology, the, you know, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of it, it's really made, you know, it's made some hurdles, I think, in that space for sure. So let's switch it up here a little bit. One of the things I found in doing this for over 10 years now, and starting off sober guy, really 12-step focus. And I'm still a huge supporter of 12-step, by the way, just want to say that, saved my life, put a lot into it, got a lot out of it, still do. But there's a pretty large space. And I think that if you have one end of the spectrum, so, you know, someone who can have a beer and be fine for, you know, the week, they can have a couple beers maybe for a month and not, you know, they're good. And then the other end of the spectrum, just full blown, you know, alcohol use disorder, alcoholism, whatever you want to call it, mental health, all that stuff. And then there's somewhere in the middle that lies where a lot of guys have questions. It's like, do I have a problem? Am I an alcoholic? Am I going to have to quit? Can I ever go back to that? So what I'm getting at here is, do you think that people who struggle with alcohol, do you think they can at some point successfully moderate, or is that like a dangerous idea? Like, how do you kind of draw the line, or where do you have some thoughts in that middle space that I hear a lot of guys struggle with?
Yeah. Great layout of that. The question, there's really two there, and they're the two biggest questions, I think, in sobriety, which is, do I have a drinking problem, and can I just have a couple? Right. And so the first one is super simple to answer, is if you've ever thought about the question, it means you kind of just answer the question. And for example, like, I don't struggle with gambling, luckily. I don't struggle with sex. I don't struggle with shopping or many other potential addictions. There are many. And I've never asked, oh man, do I have a problem with dice? Do I have a problem with the blackjack table? Like, I've never asked myself that because I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
So like, that's coming from the deeper inner you going, hey man, like this is something, we got to address this. So you do. And it's good to get a grip on that before it turns into a massive, massive problem. The second one, which is the total conundrum with this, because Shane, every other problem that I've had in life, it was the solution was like, work harder, man, wake up earlier, run faster, train harder, lift more weights. I don't know.
Yeah.
And with this one, it doesn't work. And there's this incredibly tiresome and laborsome, it requires so much effort of moderation attempts. And it's not going to take me it's not going to take me or Shane to say, no, it doesn't work, for you to be like, well, fuck, Paul and Shane said it doesn't work, I guess I'm not going to do it. But let me back it up with some data. I've almost interviewed 600 people on the podcast. This is a weekly podcast. Awesome. For 600 weeks. Yeah. Thank you, man. And a lot of data has emerged and trends. And one real quick that emerged was that moderation doesn't work. Like episode 10, like 0 for 10, really? 0 for 20, 0 for 100, 0 for 5. Interesting. And the thing is, you're trying to control an uncontrollable thing, right? This is going against the beautiful marketing imagery and celebrities drinking normally. And a lot of those celebrities later, some of them later died, you know, from alcohol abuse and stuff over the years. So and if you flip it like, can I do moderate crack use or moderately use heroin? It sounds like, fuck no, that's stupid. Don't even consider that. But well, let me just moderately have a couple. So you can't. But I also think that phase of someone's life, it's almost necessary, because you reach like this hand up moment. You're like, well, oh shit, I guess I'll just have to quit. And then something beautiful happens, Shane. All the energy that went towards how many drinks, the money saved, like, am I going to drink before? All that goes to just, man, I'm not going to drink. And that's when life's not easy in general. You know, there's a struggle with that at first, but that's when it starts to bloom. That's when you find like, shit, this is what I really like. Don't like that. That's got to go. That's when the beauty begins.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it becomes more of a lifestyle versus like, I'm just not drinking. I work with a lot of guys, and that's one of the biggest things probably they struggle with is, like, it, how do I reframe this up to where you're not taking alcohol away from me, but instead what I'm gaining from not using alcohol, the lifestyle that I lead, the ability to take care of my family, the ability to be a great business owner and a leader in, in work, in the home, in your community, whatever that looks like. There's a switch there. And I think that's kind of what you're getting at too, is like, once you find that and you can kind of tap into that, it becomes so much more about, I'm just not drinking. And it's like, man, I'm actually living my authentic self, my life now, which is amazing. Um, what is your take? Okay. So NA, it's crazy to me how big the NA beer and just NA drinks in general industry has got. I mean, it used to be O'Doul's. I always said it was my old coach, in the 80s, early 90s. He had the John Stockton Nutters and the big socks on and the McGregor cleats. And he was out there yelling and screaming, and he hadn't had a drink in, 4 years. And he had a 24 pack of O'Doul's in the fridge. And that was the only option, was just O'Doul's. Now you have so many options. I can't even keep up with them these days. They've really tapped into a market there, which I understand from a business perspective. Any thoughts on the NA industry, on drinking NA beers? I get a lot of questions about that.
Yeah, I love John Stockton. Holy shit. I was born in Utah.
Oh yeah.
Stockton and Malone.
Karl Malone, baby. He was the man.
Yeah. So there's no doubt the NA world is exploding right now. And that actually can be attributed to women. So in the 1980s, the MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, they just lost one too many kids to drunk drivers. And the change that women can make, or mothers, I'm sure their fathers involved, but it's mostly mothers against mothers against drunk driving. The positive change that the loss of a child can foment, the love of that loss, right, to make change. And that was the creation of O'Doul's. And they purposely made it taste bland. It didn't taste good. They stuck it behind things and shelves, but it was there to stay. And what we've seen in the last 10 years, even more recently, the last 5 years, has been an explosion of it. Now, some of the questions that we get, and I know you've gotten the same things, is like, A, am I still sober if I do it? Am I going to relapse with it? My advice there is caution is the way to go at first. I remember my first NA Busch Light, like 3 years into sobriety. It was like I was right back at the beer pong table. It's like, holy shit, I didn't relapse.
Yeah.
But I was like, whoa, game on.
Yeah.
For me, I can only drink one. I can't drink two. My stomach will just be like, dude, we're done. Yeah. In terms of, there are trace amounts of alcohol in some of them. Most the direction, a lot of them are 0.0, like Heineken 0.0. Hell yeah, it's rad.
Yeah.
You would have to, I saw some videos and studies on this. You'd have to drink a shit ton. We're talking like 10 to 15 to 20 before you're even like 0.04, 0.03.
Miserable.
I physically could not do that.
I couldn't either.
And many people, they find that like, all right, it scratched the itch just enough. But for me in general, I'd rather have an ice cold lemonade or like a Slurpee or just ice water.
Slurpee, that's a good one, man.
Well, how do you answer those questions, Shane?
Well, no, it's pretty similar to what you said. I always, use caution. Like I always say, like, how are you feeling? Like, are you spiritually fit? Like, where are you at? Like, how's, what's going on in your day to day? Like, so I think that's an important look, first. I never drank for the taste of beer. I didn't love the taste of beer. I drank to get intoxicated and escape. I mean, that was, and I'm pretty sure you have the same thing. So to your point of like the NA beer, I do have one occasionally. And it's more of the social aspect of it. And it doesn't really do much for me other than that social. It's usually having one, and then, man, I'm back to some soda water and some cranberry or a soda or some water or coffee or whatever. I think you got to use caution at first and just know where you're at. Where are you at as a person? Is it going to be a trigger for you? Is it going to be something that, puts you right back in that same situation? And in fact, I didn't have an NA beer. I don't think until probably 4 or 5 years in, I think, because I was so scared, to go backwards. I was just terrified to do anything to jeopardize what I had already kind of built in the path I was on. Over time, things change, people change. I change, my outlook on things changes or whatever. But yeah, I'm definitely not beer bonging NA beers and trying to go kill a 12. What's the point? What's the point? It's not, it's not for the taste. The industry part of it though is super interesting to me. Just how big it's gotten and how much money is involved in that now, that they have been able to tap into, that market of people. And I think you're right too. That's a really good point you made, that the women, the majority of the women are the ones who have really brought that market out, starting with the no ma'am, right, back in the day.
Yeah, they at least got the fire started.
Yeah. I said no ma'am. That's from Married with Children, actually. I meant I love Married with Children, man. Al Bundy, 4 touchdowns, Polk High, baby. I saw that the other day.
I just read Christina Applegate's autobiography.
Oh wow, how was that?
It was super good. Yeah, she's struggling with MS right now, but there's a couple chapters on the show, and she speaks in a very high regard of Al Bundy. What's his real name? I don't know, but
Ed Harris.
That's it. Yeah, I loved that show. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Bud and Kelly.
I follow David Faustino, Bud Bundy on Instagram, and they actually do. I don't know if it's monthly, but they have a Married with Children group. It's like a subscription group a month, and then they do live Zoom calls with like last month. Ed Harris, Al was on the call, and so you can get in there and ask questions, and you can it's crazy, man. It's pretty cool.
No way.
And I didn't realize. Did you know he's actually a really he's a good hip hop artist and DJ too. I don't know if you remember the character on the show. He was a Grandmaster B. And he was like a rapper, on the show. That was like his alter ego. But he actually put out
Bud or Al?
Yeah, Bud.
Oh,
yeah.
Bud. Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. Pretty fun.
That's so rad. I'm glad we had a quick Married with Children talk. I love that show.
I love it, man. I love it. So let's see. Where do we want to go with this, man? Right now, where are we even at? I love it. We've covered lots of different topics today, and it's always fun.
Okay. There's one thing that a thread we could go here. It seems like the world's on fire again. It's like what you choose to believe, and maybe it's always been on fire, but I do think there is some change in the climate, and addiction might be the answer to that. I just hear it so many times where people, it's like this beautiful reconnecting with themselves, and they get back outside and they notice the crickets chirping for the first time. They pull up their iPhone, and they use the Merlin Bird app, which is a great way to use technology. And they start learning the names of the birds in their backyard. I remember for about me, year 5 or 6, I was out in the forest. I'm like, what is that? And I'm looking at this tall, super, I can maybe put my arms around it. It's super tall. There's like green things hanging out everywhere. There's little cone shaped things on it and on the ground. You obviously know I'm describing a tree. But I was like, what kind of tree is that? And it was the Douglas fir. And I just started researching it. And it turns out, Shane, the Douglas fir is the tallest tree in the world if you don't cut them down. So right now, the tallest tree in the world is it's a coastal redwood. It's named Hyperion. It's 379 feet high. But if there's no humans and you don't cut them down for their wood, a Douglas fir can get to be 480 feet freaking high, which is unfathomable.
Dude, I did not know that.
And so like there's this aperture that opens with people when they quit drinking of the natural world. It's like this childlike curiosity comes back. And I'm a huge fan of Christmas, Shane, but the thought of me cutting down a Douglas fir, which is the Christmas tree of choice in almost all the homes, I couldn't do it. I could not go up in the mountains with the saw and cut down a live, feeling, emotional tree. That sounds strange, but the feelings that we feel, they share the same energies under the roots with the mother tree, the parent tree. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't cut down a tree for 35 days and then throw it on the curb when Christmas is over. Not dogging you if you do, But there's this connection with nature that I've heard over and over and over and over. And if I see an insect in the house, Shane, I can't kill it. I don't know. It's like
same, dude.
The separation from me to that is softening. It's dwindling. It's becoming harder and harder. I mean, I've caught scorpions in Costa Rica with paper towels and been like, I really want to kill you, my man, but I won't. So I think addiction is what takes our species to a beautiful place. And I'm saying that again out loud. I'm like, did I just say that? I think people who ride the addiction to the other side into sobriety,
I get it. Yeah.
And that's not even the right word. It's into connection with themselves, with nature, with their inner child, with their neighbor, with the buffalo, with the Douglas fir.
Yeah.
The phone cannot compete with that, Shane. Not in a million years can a phone compete with a sunset where there's birds flying. It just can't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree. And like you said, that childlike fun, childlike faith, I'll call it too. There was something I used to do a lot of backpacking when I was a kid. My grandpa and uncles, and we'd go out to the Marble Mountains up in Wairika for a week and a half. Man, it's just amazing times, fishing and hiking, seeing bears, all kinds of crazy stuff. And I got away from that when I got in my teen years because I started doing other stupid stuff. And it wasn't until about 2017, I think. So I was a couple years, on this new path. And we started taking backpacking trips again. And man, it was just the most amazing thing just to be out in, like you said, nature, out in the middle of nowhere, fishing, hiking, no phone service. You don't have phone service. We found one little hot spot we could roll over to and make an emergency call if we needed to, which was good. But, just that connection again. And I encourage a lot of guys to do that. Like maybe they feel stuck. It's like, hey, what did you love to do as a kid? What did you love to do and all of a sudden you got older and you got all responsible and you got a job and a family and all these things. And those are beautiful things too. I'm not saying anything against that, but like you lose yourself. And so how can you tap back in to that childlike spirit, that thing that you used to have a lot of fun doing? And I think that frees up some of the spirit to not want to just escape all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So well said. With the childlike hobbies, we often think we need to, go out and find out who we are, but most likely we've already done it when we were kids. When I was a kid, I loved playing music, playing with model trains, being outside in nature. And that's basically what I do now. I have a train set and, but yeah, it's
you
just
put it around the Christmas tree, around the Douglas fir. That's a beautiful thing. I'm a big Christmas guy too. So I'm with you on there.
No, that actually, I drilled holes through my walls, and this is a Lionel train set. It goes through the crawl space, into the basement, into my office, into the den. It's like 100 feet of track. It took a long time to make, and I lowered the value of my house by at least a couple $100,000. But my inner child is so pumped and so proud. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. That's cool. Well, let's kind of roll into that, and then we'll wrap up, man. What is life like after drinking, man? What is it like? What can it be like? Any thoughts on that from personal experience, or maybe what you see from 600 different interviews?
Yeah, what it can be like, anything you want it to be. That's not toxic positivity. It's not a self-help spin. It's just whatever you want, man. You do whatever you want. And I've seen people quit drinking and really struggle, but they've got a clear mind to like struggle and they get out of it. Mm-hmm. Right. And because the problems you're facing today, they're not going to go away, but a drink is just going to make them even worse. Yeah. So, what can it be like at the fundamental level? We think we need to go out and do incredible, amazing things. And maybe you do, but you're already living the most incredible miracle of all, and that's life. With every single breath, you're doing it, man. You are nature. Like we're like, the war on nature is killing ourselves. Anyways, I recently, this morning, I got to a trailhead at 6 a.m. and I walked with my dog Ben's Ashes to our favorite waterfall. Oh. And the sun was out, the birds. The birds were out. So what can a life be like without alcohol? You can experience the full range. You got love, and then when it's gone, you got grief, and you have to have
Yeah.
them both. They're both equally necessary. You recognize that in a world of duality, you have to have hot and cold, tall and short, sound and silence, dark to no light. You need to know birth to know death. And through this
Yeah.
process with my
That's
dog
good.
Ben, and I think the whole addiction process is forcing you to live life from gratitude because, even on the walk this morning and after I put him down, the brain is trying to think like, is he with me? Is he going to
Mm.
reincarnate? Is he in doggy heaven? Am I going to see him again? There's a Disney movie that says all dogs go to heaven. I'm going to watch that. And it can't.
Yeah.
The thinking mind cannot answer any of those questions. Maybe that by design. And so, but what I always land at, and my hands go up in a stance of almost receivership, and I just say, thank you so
Yeah.
much,
That's good.
universe. Thank you, God. Some call it Jesus. So, whatever. Great universal spirit. Just hey, fuck, man. Thank you. So what can it be? It can be anything, but for me, I'm alive and I'm connected to my emotions.
That's good.
It's full of happiness, it's full of sadness, it's full of joy, it's full of loss, it's full of destruction, it's full of expansiveness, it's full of birth, it's full of everything, Shane. And you're
Yeah,
giving
that's
up, yeah,
good.
giving up just one thing for it all.
Yeah, I love that, man. And thank you for sharing that too. Because that I feel like that brings this convo even back to full circle again. We talked in the beginning about wanting to not feel and to numb out. And what you just described right there, although some of those times may be hard to feel, I really struggle with that myself, especially sadness. I don't want to feel sad. So I just kind of block it out. And I used to drink about it instead and all that. But I have learned to at least be able to acknowledge it and sit in it. And that's what you just described, the ability to be able to feel, having a sober mind gives us that ability. And I just want to say too, in honor of Ben, man, dude, number one, I'm so sorry about that. That he's gone, and physically he's gone. But gosh, so many great memories. And I told you before we started, I think about that picture of you and him in the swing. And that must have been from like 2017 or 18. I know that was back in the early days because it was
Throwback.
one of the ones that stand out. And then there was another one I think I saw on your Instagram. He had the dog cone on, and you put the dog cone on too, and
Oh
sat
yeah.
next to him. I was rolling on that, man, and just a lot of great memories there. And I know he was a big part of Recovery Elevator and touched a lot of lives out there too. So just want to pay tribute to him, man. I know it's a big part of your life, man.
Yeah, thank you. What a legend. And people have thanked me for doing what I do or whatnot, but it's really this dog Ben got me through like an animal spirit.
Yeah.
And through me has healed. That dog healed so many people, including myself. Just wow.
Well, if you think about it too, like a dog, they're very um, godlike in a sense. You know what I mean? They love you unconditionally. They don't want anything from you. They're loyal. They're always there. They don't know if you had a bad day or a great day. They don't care. They just want to be with you. They just want to spend time with you. They just want to love you. They just want to be loved. And I think we can learn a little bit something from that. And if we take that out, and apply that in our own lives, like, man, dude, like the dog's got it going on, man. That's for sure.
Very
Oh
well
man.
said.
Yeah.
We've got Zen Buddha teachers in our house in forms of cats and dogs. Just gotta watch and listen.
That's
Yeah.
right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on today, man. And I know I'm going to put a link in the show notes to connect for a free month of the community Cafe RE. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, and then tell us about Recovery Elevator, where folks can reach out, where they can find you at and connect?
Okay. Yeah. Recovery Elevator is the podcast. We do sober travel trips, annual retreat in Bozeman, going to Costa Rica next year, Morocco, and the Camino de Santiago. And then we have a nonprofit
Awesome.
called Cafe RE that is our alcohol free community. Got about 30 chats per week, all kinds of bells and whistles there. Yeah. And there's a free month. You can use the code Connect. Yeah. For a free month. Yeah. Thank you, Shane, for mentioning
Awesome,
that.
man. Absolutely. I'm going to write connect in there right now too, but I got the link in there too. So to the guy out there struggling right now, or, maybe he just wants to make some changes in his life, what would you tell him, Paul?
Yeah, the main thing, the only thing here is to come closer to the campfire, right? And share your struggles with somebody else. Because eventually you are going to be tasked to share how you overcame your struggles with alcohol to somebody else. That's just the whole circle, right? And so this cannot be done alone. You don't want to do it alone. Doing any of this human life alone is no fun. So that's it. It's an easy one. Yeah, come to the campfire. You're welcome. We want you. We need you, and that's where you belong.
Love it, Paul Churchill. Honored to be your friend, man. I appreciate you coming on the podcast, and thank you again, man, for all the work you're doing, man. You guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, let's not wait another 10 years to connect again like this.
I know.
Hey,
We'll definitely do it again. Thanks for tuning into That Sober Guy podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to share it with a friend. Take care. God bless. Keep your blood clean.